ladies and gentlemen, it is me, Comic Kid Guru, coming at you with another episode of my podcast. This is episode 3. Sorry for the latency, everybody. Last week, as you know, I did not actually post an episode or upload an episode. Last week was my school registration, and there was a lot of somewhat stress because I was worried that I would not get my class, which is audio and video, the advanced class. But I ended up getting it. And that Friday, if I recall, I took a nap for the rest of the night, and I really didn't have any time to record, so I am sorry. I needed my rest, and I apologize. My apologies to everybody. But I am back here, hopefully retaining the schedule, as promised. So, yes, this is episode 3 of Comic Kid Guru. In this episode, we will be discussing Game of Thrones, Annabelle Creation, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Injustice 2, Friday the 13th, the video game, and what got me into Hot Toys collecting. So, we'll get into that. We'll see how everything goes. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy the show. Starting off, we're going to get with the nitty-gritty. Game of Thrones. I don't know how many of you have been watching. I have been watching valiantly. It's been a great season so far. I would say really the flattest episode has to have been last week from the season. I would say that episode 5 has to be the flattest episode of them all. Not a bad episode, but in terms of the way the season's been going, it's kind of the episode. So let's hope that episode 6 and episode 7 are better. Really getting down to basically all that's left of Game of Thrones is one full regular season, only 10 episodes. 10 episodes, can you believe that? I did start the show kind of late back in season 6. I started watching it. Of course, I saw seasons 1 through 5, and I binge watched it with my dad. But I started back when season 6 was still airing. But I've loved the show. It's been great. It's an amazing show. I highly recommend it to anybody who enjoys like fantasy, or even medieval stuff. It's a really good show. There's not so much magic in it, which is nice. There's still that magic aspect, but it's minuscule compared to other stuff like Lord of the Rings and whatnot. But it's been a good season. So far we have things heating up between Jon Snow and Dany. They're working together now. Not just as a military alliance, but and another kind of alliance, if you catch my drift. So that's pretty much happening between them. Secondly, we have, what else? Cersei is pregnant? What? That's something new. She's pregnant supposedly with another child. As we see in episode 5, she tells Jaime that she is pregnant, basically. But is she really pregnant, or is this a ploy for her to keep Jaime alongside her? After all, for 6 seasons, we already know how Cersei is. She's evil. Absolutely evil. And she will stop at nothing to keep the Iron Throne. So we'll see how it pans out. But it's crazy to think that, there's only 2 more episodes left this season. By the time I go back to school, season 7 is going to be done. And then we have to wait, a year? 2 years for season 8? And that's only going to be 6 episodes? Granted, each episode supposedly is going to be 80 minutes long, but damn it, I want more Game of Thrones. But I'm glad that they're not going to keep it going to where it gets old or boring. No, they'll stop it when, it's going to be a full story, and I really, really am looking forward to that. But no, after basically Game of Thrones, I'm really not looking forward to anything but Westworld Season 2, which comes out spring 2018. So we'll see. Hopefully the season ends off really good, to where I really cannot wait for season 8. Actually, with season 7, I don't know how many of you know this, but episode 6 got released by accident. Yes, season 7, episode 6 of Game of Thrones was released on HBO over in Europe for maybe, I don't know how long, but they aired the episode by accident. It wasn't a hacker. Granted, the whole basic script for season 7, basically all the plot for season 7 was leaked months prior to the season airing by hackers. But no, this whole episode mistake was on HBO. For some reason, by accident, they aired the episode over there. And now, I mean, you can watch it online and everything, and there's clips all over the place. And me being the curious, curiosity killed the cat. I kind of know what happens at this episode, but I will not say anything for those of you who want to see next episode. I will be talking about it in next podcast, most likely. And maybe even do a special for the season finale. I don't know. It depends. That's kind of going to be a school night back. Bummer. But Game of Thrones has been great. In fact, I'm actually going back and I'm rewatching it. Back from episode 1. I'm on episode 2. I'm halfway through episode 2. I'm kind of been playing more games and stuff again. So, sorry about that. I actually also have a, on the way, hopefully in the mail, hopefully I didn't get ripped off, a 1/6 scale Jon Snow figure. For those of you who don't really know scale, 1/6 scale is like the size of a Hot Toys figure, which are the really nice like Avengers set that I have and the Force Awakens set that I have, which, like I said, I'll get into and how I got into them later on in this podcast, in this episode. But so far, that's how Game of Thrones has been going. I hope my Jon Snow comes in. If it doesn't, I'm gonna have to get a refund, and maybe I can at least buy the series. There's like a box set with seasons 1 through 6. Hopefully, maybe I can get them. Because no matter what, I really enjoy the show. I mean, it's a very, very well done show. Right here, why don't you go ahead in the comments? Let me know what house you represent. House Stark, Lannister, Targaryen. What house are you with? I'm personally with Stark. I don't know. I'm always been House Stark, no matter what. Although afterwards, I'd probably be House Targaryen also. What else happened? Last week, actually, Annabelle Creation came out. The sequel to the Annabelle movie. I guess, is it a sequel technically? I wouldn't necessarily. Yeah, it's kind of a sequel to Annabelle. It's another movie in the Conjuring universe revolving Annabelle. And I'm gonna be honest. These trailers were disappointing me, man. I mean, it looked like they were doing Chucky with the Annabelle doll, which kind of sucked because, I mean, you're kind of getting rid of the freaky aspect. So I was already going into this movie with with low expectations, okay? I was ready to be disappointed. And I wasn't. It was actually a pretty darn good movie. I'd say, fear factor, it's not as good as the first one. And it's not as good as The Conjuring, fear factor wise. But story wise, I would say that Annabelle Creation is better than Annabelle. Especially the ending. I mean, it ends really, really cool. For those of you who are huge fans like me of the Conjuring universe and the Annabelle movie, you'll love the ending to Annabelle. I highly recommend, though, that either immediately after seeing Annabelle Creation, you watch the first Annabelle, or you watch the first Annabelle before you go into Annabelle Creation. You'll get everything a lot better, and it'll all become a little bit more clear to those of you who maybe haven't seen the movie as many times as I have. But I have to give it to whoever's doing the Conjuring one. I know the Conjuring is James Wan, Conjuring 1 and 2, but I know Annabelle and Annabelle Creation aren't. I mean, James Wan produced them, but that's about it. But you're making a good set of movies, dude. I mean, everything is tying in pretty good, from beginning to end. You can basically you could tell the story pretty freaking well. And it all links up very well. And they're doing a good job about it. That was one gripe that I had about the Paranormal Activity movies. Now, before you say anything, I love the Paranormal Activity movies. Okay, they're some of my favorite ones, actually. I mean, there doesn't go a year where we don't see all 6 of them. Well, all 5 of them. But now we have to see all 6, sadly. I don't like the Ghost Dimension. It was very, very disappointing, and it ended on a very bad note. But so far, there is no bad notes with the Conjuring movies or anything. It's a very good set of movies. I know a lot of people and my friends are disappointed with horror movies now, but I mean, I love the horror movies. I still get freaked out by them. I've been watching horror movies since I was like 2, 1. I've been watching horror movies for a long, long time. So I think I know what I'm talking about with horror movies and stuff, and I know where I stand. Um, but I kind of like, I just go in to enjoy them, and I still get freaked out and stuff. It's a pretty good experience with horror movies that I have. Um, but it's a very both the Conjuring universe and actually the Insidious universe are two good ones. There's not really a bad movie in any of them so far. I mean, the Conjuring universe has 4 and Insidious has 3, but granted they're making a 4th one. But the Conjuring universe so far, it's gonna have The Nun. It's going to have also the movie on the Crooked Man, I believe, and whatever Conjuring 3 is. But hopefully Conjuring 3 continues the Ed and Lorraine Warren story, because I love the Ed and Lorraine Warren. I don't remember his name, Patrick Wilson. He does great in both The Conjuring and Insidious. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Ed and Lorraine Warren back in action in The Conjuring 3. And seeing the backstory to the Nun, especially. And the Crooked Man, if they do the Crooked Man. Hopefully they're doing the Crooked Man, I think. In other somewhat talking aspect, I went back and I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Because if you don't know, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was released digitally on Digital HD back, I think, last week, if I believe. It was released digitally back last week, I believe. And I was able to watch it. And, I mean, when I first saw the movie, I saw it in one of the days where I go see 2 movies. I saw Wonder Woman before, and then I went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 because I hadn't seen it yet. Ultimately, first of all, I loved Wonder Woman. It's one of my favorite movies of the year so far. But Guardians of the Galaxy 2 had disappointed me. Okay? Everybody before told me it was awesome, told me it was the best Marvel movie, that it's sad, that it's all these things. And, I mean, I was going in with high expectations. I mean, oh my God, the way they're saying this, it's better than the first one, which I wouldn't think is possible because I love the first movie. I had a whole Christmas dedicated to the first movie where I literally got the whole wave of Marvel Legends and the movie and even a little dancing baby Groot. But when I saw the movie, I was disappointed at first. I mean, really? I mean, I don't actually know what I found so disappointing about it at this point. The story is pretty good. I mean, the acting is great. It's phenomenal, of course. The characters are pretty cool. I would have to say that, I mean, in this one, Rocket's kind of a douchebag more than usual. But it was cool seeing Kurt Russell and, I mean, Chris Pratt as Star-Lord again, and Zoe Saldana as Gamora, so on and so forth. I mean, it was still good, but I was disappointed somewhat. I mean, it wasn't as good as the first one. And everybody's over here telling me it's better than the first one. Yeah. But, I don't know, there's something about it. So, the whole time I'm kind of disappointed about it. But then it's here, it's getting released again, and I'm like, okay. And not only that, but I was also disappointed by the soundtrack. It wasn't as good as the first one, the soundtrack at first. But I saw it was coming out, and I was just like, okay, I'll give it a second shot. I have to give a Marvel movie a second shot always, because no matter what, I have to get the Marvel movie, whether it's bad or good. The second time I saw it, I had so much fun with it. I loved it. It was great. I wouldn't say it's better than the first one. It still isn't better, but it's pretty good now, The storyline with Yondu, the storyline with Peter Quill and his dad, it was good. And I like the moral of this story better, which is basically family, Your blood isn't always going to be family. Sometimes it's your best friends. The people around you are your family. And that's a cool moral. It was good. I mean, it's still a really sad ending. No matter how you put it, it's a Marvel movie that doesn't have a happy ending. It's like Civil War. Civil War does not have a happy ending. Civil War leaves you questioning and pondering what's going to happen in the Marvel Universe when the Avengers. And with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it doesn't really leave you like that, but it still leaves you like, the hell, this isn't a happy ending whatsoever. This is sad. This is depressing. So, without going into spoilers, it was a very, very sad ending. I really didn't. I like the ending and I like what they went with it, but it was really sad. However, this movie, I really enjoyed it the second time. I have to say, if you didn't like it the first time, give it another watch. Give it another watch. I think the critics got this movie wrong. At first, I thought the critics pegged it thought they nailed it, but in reality, a lot of them didn't. And it's actually a good flick. It's not bad whatsoever. It's a good movie. It definitely isn't good as Spider-Man: Homecoming though. Spider-Man: Homecoming is still a great movie. I mean, I put Spider-Man: Homecoming over Spider-Man 2, which forever was my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. So that's really saying something about that. But Guardians of the Galaxy was a good flick. It's a good watch. It's highly enjoyable. I highly recommend it to anybody who likes sci-fi movies or action movies or superhero movies. It's a great watch, and I highly recommend anybody watch it. Another thing this week is I went back to playing Injustice 2. I got Injustice 2, I'd like to say 2 weeks after it came out. After its release, I got Injustice 2. Literally like the last day of school I bought it, and I had so much fun with it. I mean, I loved it. The thing is that it's a fighting game, okay? Like, it's made by the people that made Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat X, NetherRealm, and I never really played the first Injustice. I played it a little bit and I liked it, but I really wasn't into it because it's a fighting game, and I'm not very good at fighting games. I can never remember the combos, and I can never land them good, and I always lost. I didn't like them. And I played Mortal Kombat X, and I was so bored with it. The story was boring. There was nothing to do other than the story, and the online was just annoying because all anybody ever did was spam, or they were better than me. I mean, I didn't know what character was good, and I didn't know what characters were bad. It's just an irritating game. But I really didn't enjoy it. The thing I liked about it was, they had Leatherface, they had Jason, they had the Alien, and they had the Predator. That's pretty cool, Other than that, it's kind of like, what a lame game in my opinion. So I didn't have high expectations. In fact, I wasn't even looking forward to Injustice 2. My friends started talking about it more, and they were telling me, oh, it has this loot system. It has a, different outfits, and each piece of like an outfit, or I don't know how to put it, because like you can get leggings, you can get different things for each character. I guess each piece of the outfit would change the way you look, and it does. It changes the way you look. But there's also shaders that changes your color. There's some what is it? I forgot what they're called. They're like special shaders. And they change the way your whole character actually looks like. Instead of Supergirl, it's Power Girl. Instead of Captain Cold, it's Mr. Freeze. Instead of being Hal Jordan as Green Lantern, it's then John Stewart Green Lantern, etc., etc. But there's different ones. They're called Premier Skins. That's right, Premier Skins. And those are pretty cool. Grading the currency for those isn't as cool. They're pretty irritating to get. But since then, they released a fighter pack that contains Red Hood, Sub-Zero, which I hate the fact that they added a Mortal Kombat character into Injustice. I mean, I get it, it's made by the people that made Mortal Kombat, but don't include them in the game. I mean, seriously, don't. I'm not going to go pick up an Injustice comic and see Scorpion. I'm not going to go pick up an Injustice comic and see Sub-Zero. That's just stupid. Please, stop it. But besides Sub-Zero, they added Starfire, who I'm actually really looking forward to playing as, and I would like to get her at some point. So there was that. I haven't played any of them yet. I've seen gameplay of Red Hood and Sub-Zero and Starfire, and I love the way Starfire plays. I'm looking forward to playing as her the most. But after that, I stopped playing. I really didn't play it too much anymore. I don't remember what I bought. They got me to stop playing. I got another game. I don't remember what it was. Or I got into another game. What game did I get into? I think I got back into Overwatch. Yeah, I got back into Overwatch because like I had a dry streak where I wouldn't play Overwatch, and I got back into it, and I stopped playing Injustice for a while. Henceforth, I mean, that stopped at this point, but no, I stopped playing Injustice for a good while, and I went back to it. I don't even know why I went back to it. We were playing it. I had a somewhat like I guess you could say sleepover with my friends, and I had somewhat of a sleepover with my friends recently, like 2 weeks ago, and we were playing Injustice 2, and I forgot how fun it was, and I kind of wanted to go back and try to get some new shaders. some new armor and like level up characters like Batman, because Batman he was like level 13 or so. He was a low level character. So yeah, the day before yesterday and yesterday, I really grinded back into Injustice 2. I ranked Batman all the way up to level 20, and along with Supergirl. Supergirl was like level 17, but I upgraded her all the way to level 20. And I've just been having so much fun with it again. I mean, I forgot how fun it is. You know, I finished the story, and I really don't play online that much, but it's cool because in this one, after the story, they don't require you to play online or something stupid. There's this thing called the multiverse, which there's different, like, I guess, there's different events, and each event has different, like, missions and stuff. Like, they're called, I think, ladder matches or ladder events, and each one can contain maybe like 5 characters that you have to fight, or 12. You know, there's always that. And when you complete it, you get a mother box, which is how you get the loot, and you get a piece of armor specific to one character a lot of times. So like the other day they were having a Batman one, and I did the Batman one. I got it to level 20, and I finished it, and I got my my epic gear. And another one that I'm doing is for what's his name? Oh no, Harley Quinn. I did one for Harley Quinn. So I mean, those are really entertaining, and it kept me entertained for the game for the longest time, even before I stopped playing it. So I'm really glad, especially that, you know, I wanted to level up Batman. Perfect opportunity. They had a Batman multiverse mission. But Injustice 2 is a lot of fun. You know, even if you're not into fighting games, I highly recommend you try Injustice 2 out. I mean, the combos aren't difficult to learn. They're pretty easy. A lot of the characters are actually pretty good. And it's not a bad game. It's very, very fun, especially when you have friends to play with. It's so much fun. In fact, another game that I recently started playing again because my friends got it was Friday the 13th. I got Friday the 13th, I like to say, a day or two after it released, like most kind of games like that. And the thing when it came out was that the servers were terrible. I mean, it was hard to get. I mean, Quick Match did not work on Xbox One. I play on Xbox One. Quick Play did not work whatsoever. Each time you had to go into the Game Hub and you had to create a post, or you had to find a post that needed players to play with, because there you'd go into a private game. Because from there you can go into a private game and you play with them, or you go into a Quick Play and you play there. It's all very, very different and a little annoyance. But I stopped playing it because of that reason. I mean, you basically didn't rank up whatsoever. The game was so buggy, and it was just such a pain in the ass to find anybody to play with, or to get together and play with anybody. And then the matches would end mid match because of lag or network issues or whatever. The host would leave. I mean, there was so many problems, and I got so bored and so fed up that I stopped playing it. I stopped playing it for months. And then my friend got it. Okay. I mean, I heard that there was patches and stuff, and I always try to go back to learn and try to go back to see, but I never really got into it, you know. I tried going into Quick Play, and it wouldn't go, so I thought, wow, the same thing's happening. And then my friends came over, and they were like, I'm thinking of getting Friday the 13th. Let me try it. So I'm like, go ahead, try it. You know, I'm not playing it. I'm not doing anything. You know, go ahead and play. I mean, you guys are my guests. They found a match, and honestly, it was a blast playing with them. It was so much fun. The game is still kind of buggy and still kind of glitchy, but the server issues have somewhat been fixed. They're not as bad as they were before. They're still pretty bad, but they're not as bad as before. And the cool part is that they're making DLC for it. You know what I mean? If you go on their GoFundMe, they actually have, or not GoFundMe, their Kickstarter, they have plans. You know, and when they reach a certain mark, we'll get rewarded, like as a community. Like getting the Jason X Jason, the Uber Jason, or getting Pamela Voorhees to play as, or, you know, going to Manhattan on a map and stuff. And it's just been fun. You know, I want these things to happen because I want to play in Manhattan. I want to play as Pamela Voorhees with her, you know, her little weird scream that she'd have. You know, I really want to. But it's been fun. I mean, and now me and my friends, we're actually trying to go into a game and kill Jason. And today I totally messed it up. My friend was Jason, and my other two friends were all survivors. and it was perfect. I mean, we had a guy and we had two girls. I was like, oh my God, who's at the barn? Secretly giving my location away, but trying to make it stupid. And it worked. He killed me. 2 seconds later, I spawned back as Tommy Jarvis. My friends are making fun of me like, haha, you died. Why'd you give your location away? I'm just like, because I came back as Jarvis. My plan worked. So I did that, and then we make a plan, and it all comes together perfectly. My friend got the sweater. I got the machete as Jarvis. We knocked the mask off and everything. He kneeled. And for some reason, I couldn't press A. It never once highlighted, because you have to press A or X for PlayStation whenever, you're about to kill him and you're getting near. You have to press that, and it'll execute the cutscene and you kill him. For some reason, it didn't work. It just didn't work, and I mean, I got yelled at for it and so many things. But I mean, it was a serious glitch. Like, it didn't even come up. I couldn't do anything. And the character got stuck. He's like, hey, I had him in combat mode, and he was still moving around really weird, and it was kind of stupid. And I mean, the thing is, you have to do it in a split second. You have to do it like that. And I mean, it's really hard to do it. But Friday the 13th thing is a fun game. If you have friends to play with it with, then I highly recommend you get it. If you're a fan of the movies, you're going to love this. I mean, the attention to detail is great. It's a great fan service to those of you who grew up with Friday the 13th and love Friday the 13th. You will actually really like this game. There's multiple Jasons to unlock. There's multiple counselors. And, I mean, you go back to Crystal Lake, and there's some Easter eggs and stuff to the movies. But it's a fun game to play with friends and stuff. By yourself, not so much. And the last thing for tonight that we will be discussing is what got me into collecting Hot Toys. I mean, how did you go into collecting $20 figures to collecting easily $100, $200, $300 toys? I mean, they're toys, right? Now, the thing with that is that my dad has collected Hot Toys for years. He had started off with, Hot Toys Predators, to the Colonial Marines from Aliens, to, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, all sorts of different characters and stuff. And he always does, and, now he has, his Avengers set, and, like a Batman and a Wonder Woman, which, damn it, I wish I had the Wonder Woman. And he had some Star Wars ones also from the original trilogy, and particularly A New Hope. But they released the Force Awakens one, and ever since I saw Force Awakens, I knew exactly what figure I always wanted. I wanted the Hot Toys Rey and BB-8. That's all I wanted. Even for Christmas, I was saying, Dad, for Christmas, all I want is a Hot Toys Rey and BB-8. It's the only figure I wanted. Well, Christmas came, and, I opened up these Black Series figures. I got those because I kind of saw them before Christmas. And so basically I kind of got my own gift. I just wrapped it and couldn't open them until Christmas. But I got those, and then I didn't see a Rey and a BB-8. I mean, there was big boxes and stuff, but I mean, I'm getting these huge boxes. So I'm like, what the hell? What can this be? I mean, all I wanted was Rey and BB-8. Is it one of these? Did my dad do a gag where he just put something small in the big box? I didn't know. I open up the first box. Inside of it is the Finn and Riot Trooper 2-pack, the Hot Toys one. When I saw that, I was just like, okay, I know what's going on now. I know exactly what's going on. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I've always wanted Hot Toys figures, and then I finally get them for Christmas. And not just the one that I want to know. I got more. I got the Finn, and I got a Stormtrooper. And I remember the box, and it was so cool. I remember how I found out there was a sticker on the top. It was a yellow sticker. It said Finn and Riot Control Trooper. I was just like, holy crap. Oh my god. I opened the next box. It's Rey and BB-8. I am ecstatic. I'm just like, I cannot believe it. I'm holding a Rey and BB-8, and it's mine. I mean, it's all mine. And then the last one is Kylo Ren, and I'm just like, I have, what the hell? I got 4 Hot Toys figures that day. I mean, it was just cool. I mean, and then I got the Black Series figures, and I'm just like, oh, that's cool. But the Hot Toys was the highlight of that Christmas. I mean, this has to be my favorite Christmas that I've had in years, and that's really saying something because every Christmas I say that, but this one really takes the cake. I mean, I got toys that I've always wanted. I got the figure I wanted. It was an amazing Christmas. I can never thank them enough. Both my brother, my mom, and my dad. That's not both, but you get what I mean. You know, and they were so cool. I loved them. I would pose them. I did everything with them. They're so customizable and stuff. But it'd be maybe 2-3 weeks later. I had maybe 40 Black Series figures, Star Wars. I sold all of them. I had Biker Scouts with the speeder bike. I had a Wampa. I had a Wampa. I had all the Episode 7 ones, all the Episode 4 ones. I mean, I had most of them. I had a whole Episode 4 set, and I was happy, and they were cool. I sold them all, and I got a Stormtrooper 2-pack with the First Order Stormtrooper Gunner and a regular Stormtrooper. I got a First Order Officer, I believe, and a First Order Lieutenant, and Chewbacca. Immediately, I got, 9 Hot Toys figures in the span of 3 weeks. And I mean, I love these figures. Never once do I ever regret the decision of selling my Black Series figures. Never once. I'm very happy with the toys I've gotten. And then this summer, I kind of somewhat had a job. My job was to go over to my grandma's, and she asked me to paint her dining room and her hallway all different color and everything. I had to prime it all and I had to paint it. So I'm like, okay, I don't mind doing it, you know what I mean? And a lot of people tell me, well, you should have done it for free. And believe me, if I could have done it for free, I would have. But my grandma's not the type to have work unpaid. I mean, for every little thing, she'll pay you. So I got paid a good amount of money. Really, really good amount of money. And I didn't know what to get. I mean, would I get the Hot Toys Han Solo? Would I get the Hot Toys Captain Phasma? I mean, I wanted to get a Hot Toys figure because it had been a while since I got him. I mean, it was Christmas to this being, June. I mean, I wanted something, I want another Hot Toys figure. Just what would I get? I mean, I didn't know what the hell to get. Me and my dad started going back and watching, Iron Man and Iron Man 2 and stuff. So I'm like, I wouldn't mind an Iron Man Hot Toys figure. And I was curious about how much it was, and it was in my price range. And then I thought, why am I going to get a cheap Iron Man figure when I can get the one from Avengers? And then maybe I can get a Captain America. So I decided I'm going to try to seek out a Hot Toys Avengers set from the first Avengers, just the main 6. I first got Iron Man, and I got Captain America. And then I also bought Black Widow. I bought those 3. That's what I got with my first kind of, like, I guess you could say, paycheck. Iron Man came in. Did not regret the decision at all. Captain America came in. My decision was even better. Took a while, but Black Widow came in, and I was so freaking happy. But it pretty much stopped for a while. A Thor is relatively easy to get, but the 2 hardest ones are a Hulk and a Hawkeye. I mean, they're difficult figures to get, those 2. Maybe a couple weeks later, maybe like a week or 2 later, we're in Spider-Man Homecoming, our second time, and there's a Hawkeye on sale for about $150. That's a steal for a Hawkeye from the first Avengers movie. I went over, I painted, did what I had to do again, whatever she needed, got paid, and I got that figure. And then maybe 2 days later from that, when I paid it off, there was a Hulk for about $225 for a Hulk. Hulk goes for easily $300. And I got him. But all that's left was Thor. And then Thor I got eventually. And I mean, I just so quickly in the span of maybe 2-3 weeks, I got my 6 Avengers. And now they sit amazingly on my shelf. And I do not one day regret that decision at all. I'm still going to collect my Marvel Legends. Marvel Legends I cannot get rid of because there's so many characters that I simply can't buy in Hot Toys form. Either because they're not released or it would just be too much money. Whereas with Marvel Legends, I can get every character and I can have an awesome setup for my cinematic universe. But pretty much, I mean, that's it. I went from, now granted, for the Thor, I had to sell a First Order Stormtrooper, so now I only have 8 Force Awakens figures, plus the 6 Avengers. So in reality, I have, now I have 14 Hot Toys figures, and I'm happy. There's still some on my list, like I would like to get the Hot Toys Homecoming Spider-Man whenever that releases, the Hot Toys Wonder Woman, and really, that's left. The Hot Toys Han, of course, plus the Captain Phasma, and any other they release for The Last Jedi. I need to get The Last Jedi set, so I'm being prepared for then. And then left on my 1/6 scale figure collection that I really want right now is I'm hoping Jon Snow comes in the mail, and I have a Daenerys Targaryen pre-ordered, so whenever she comes out, I'm getting her. But that's pretty much sums it up for tonight's podcast, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm sorry that, for last week. I hope this makes up for it. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, maybe even something to talk about next episode, please leave it in the comments below. Until next Friday, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been your host, Comic Kid Guru, signing off. May the Force be with you.